probably should have combed my hair. It's too late now. I'm not doing it. Hi, people. I'm realizing that I probably should have combed my hair for this, the first live of 2020, but here we are with the same behaviors. Hi, Winifred. Hi, Ellie. Oh, I met you in person. Hi, what? Jamam, J.A. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, Karina. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to 2020, aka 2020, which is our year of abundance. We're walking in abundance this year. Guys, I want to know how your New Year's Eve was and how you're feeling today, because you know that magical moment at midnight, everything just changes, and all of a sudden, you know, food that is fattening don't have good taste anymore at any time like that, right? Time is a man-made concept. Come here when you're ready. I agree, because I'm trying to decide what to do with it. Is either chop it off again or try to put in some type of style, which means I'll probably be bald soon, so you all can watch out for that. Scalp coming to you soon. I just want to see how everybody is doing. It's been a very, hey Camille, it's been a very emotional New Year's Eve for me. Yo, I just a walk and a ball, you know. I just a walk up and down in my house, a ball, right? Ball dropping NYC was epic with millions, but amazing. Oh, that sounds great. I tried to watch the fireworks from my yard, but it never really worked out because we didn't need to chop down some of the tree them. Usually we can see the fireworks from here, but yeah, no, everything black. But apparently the people them in Montego Bay, them really acquire a bag of money this year. We're not going to ask where the money came from because that's impolite and we don't want to start the year off on that foot. But like I tell you something, some of these fireworks is going for a while. Like usually me get a solid 3 minutes and me say, Ray, me feel good 7 minutes. Shell it right down. And I was like, well, this is frightening. Of course, you have to do the rat-ta-ta-ta. Hey, trusting the process. This New Year's Eve into New Year's has actually been pretty emotional for me. Very, very, very emotional. Definitely. It's been a lot of crying and a lot of release, I think, because, like, you ever really sit down and think about the last 10 years of your life? Well, first of all, Happy New Year, Deandra. First of all, we can't even agree if the decade is finished, right? Because everybody come up now, we'll pop up and we're like, oh, it's the end of a decade, oh my God, end of a decade. And then another set of people are like, but the decade don't end though, because the decade is 2010 to 2020 though. So at the end of 2020 will be the end of the decade. And now the whole of we in an uproar, we don't know where we're going anymore. We don't know where we're going. We're in a furor, we're life in a shambles, right? Hola, hello, hi. So nobody not really know. Up in New Year, Dijon, up in New Year's. We don't know if the decade done. But whether the decade done or not, it is a good time for us to stop and take a little check, right? You stop and check back the last 10 years of your life. Come stop and check back the last 10 years of my life. 10 years ago into my life, I was 27. I was a very different somebody. Some things have changed significantly, but my love, some things have remained the same. I just pre something when I write. I went in a 2014. That is significant because at the end of 2014, I was processing a breakup with the same human that I broke up with again with this year. Right? So if that's not some full circle I don't know what is. But I feel like I need to take a check. Spend the time and take a check of the last 10 or so years of your life, right? And when I talk about take a check, I know say we love the little love. The last 10 years of my life, some of the something them I think my brain block it out. I couldn't remember what I was doing New Year's Eve of 2018. What was it? Now I'm all messed up. Yeah, the first couple of days. I can't never remember anything. Okay, New Year's Eve 2019 would have been last night. So what I could not remember is New Year's Eve 2018. Couldn't remember. My friend pointed out why. It was probably because of who I was with and where we stand now with each other. And my brain just blocked that one out, right? Because to be frank, people, like the whole of power memory, some of the something we need to forget. Like sometimes universe are gonna make you forget things because them things that are really beneficial to you. You know, if you hold it up there, you have other things you can do with the space. You have other things you need to take the place. I mean, other than that, I don't know, so you need to start taking a drink on all of them something because none of we are young like one time. If we're old enough to start the some check on 10 years ago, then you know, say, He's a mature somebody. So start take your drink off right now. But come know say some of my memories definitely moving away from me in a very rapid pace. Moving a little more quickly than I feel alright with. Hey, you know better come join when me now look on the something so me don't get to tell people hello, you know. Right? Yeah man, we're gonna start take a drink and start take care of our body. You see that year, yeah? 2020, this is the year of health. No, me I focus on my health with what I can only call a rabid level of attention because I go out the other night. I'm telling you something. When I reach back on my yard, my shell right down. My body never good again. Never good. And it took me one day for recover because of what I was drinking. Because I should have known that that particular brand of vodka was not for me. All of them are looking at bag. Oh, don't want to listen nothing. All right. Okay. So, what me not say to you now? Moonshine, darling. Hi. Right? What drink we getting? Because I want to take care of our body. I do one body what we have. Guys, me feel nice, you know. Huh? Philip there. Yeah, go spend your New Year's in a silence. I know you come here for make up nice head size for wrangling. Yeah. We'll take care of our health this year. Right? Deliberately so. No, mix up. We have to, you know, the family, we have to get together at the start of the year and we have to talk to one another and we have to share love with each other and them type of something there. Hello, Moonshine, darling. Yeah. I feel like this year is going to be significant for us. I don't know. Jody, we just a start. I don't know if that means it's going to be an easy year for us, but I feel like it's going to be a significant year for us. I love going live too. Thank you. Right? And I feel like it's going to be a significant year for us because I am full of antioxidants right now because of me met the sorrel this year and nobody can talk to me. Yeah. Right? We are joining hands and help bring powerful woman to choice real food to bring back our health. Exactly. Towards the end of last year, and I don't know if it's just because of where I am mentally and me paying attention to it. I saw more people being very deliberate about the intentions that they were setting for themselves. I don't know if it's because like before I wasn't thinking in line with that, people were doing this all the time, but me see more people are setting intentions like, yo, I'm manifesting wealth. I'm using language like I'm manifesting about abundance. Like, you know, I want a life of ease. Hey, Pataki, I want, you know, things to go well for me. I'm manifesting like unity in my family, healing. I see a lot more people having you know, conversations about like ancestral healing, more people having conversations about like intergenerational trauma, all of those types of things. Like the type of language that we're using, I love where it is, and I love being able to be a part of this moment that we're having, right? So my baby era reach now, right? Because I think when we start to hit that type of critical mass with that type of language and that type of energy, then it's going to manifest outward, and it's going to start, you're going to see the outforming of that in the type of communities that we live in, right? And it's essential that we be doing that right now because there are so many other counter energies around. I don't know what's been happening in Jamaica over the Christmas and New Year's season. It's wild, right? It's been wild what has been happening. And so I think it's very significant that inside of all of that, you have a cluster of people who are just very deliberate about maintaining a space of positivity and a space of hope. And it feels great for me to be a part of that. The other thing that feels great, yes, remember your crystals, black tourmaline. The other thing that feels good for me is I think this is the first New Year's that I have been so in possession of myself, right? Every year we get an opportunity to become more deliberately ourselves. And of course, if we're doing the decade check-in, I'm 37 now. I was 27 when this started. You know, the more years of experience you have, the more, you know yourself and all of those types of things. But I think I'm very grateful for where my particular journey has placed me this year, because I feel like this is the year where I've started individuating. 1111 is an angel number. It's a manifestation number. Yeah, I think like this is the year that I have started individuating. I realized that before, I look back at the last, all right, so I'm going to stop greet people who are coming. So anybody who are coming, I'm going to greet them. I'll stop greet them because I want to just talk, right? So anybody who come, I'm going to greet them. Have manners, because as a family we have manners, right? I looked back at the last 10 years of my life, and the last 10 years of my life have been brutal. The last 10 years of my life have been brutal. For the last 10 years of my life, I've been deeply unhappy. I have been depressed. I have been on and off suicidal. And even when good things happened to me and I felt joyful, there was a tinge of pain under that joy that made me not want to lean into it. Like I was afraid of leaning into joy because no joy actually felt real. Everything had a tinge of pain under it. And I was in hell for the last decade of my life. And I was in the type of hell that is the worst type of hell because I didn't know that I was in hell. You see me people, them I do them work, them are telling newcomers them welcome. I was in the type of hell where I didn't know that I was in hell. And to me, that is the worst because when you are in hell and you know that you are in hell, you can separate out the feelings and you can say, this is what I am experiencing right now versus this is all that reality has to offer to me. I did not know that where I was just what I was experiencing right now. I thought that's all reality had to offer to me. I didn't even know that I was suffering. I was just suffering and I had no clue that I was, right? And I feel like maybe some of you have been to this place where you know, or you wake up one day and you suddenly you can feel what you're feeling as opposed to just being immersed in it. You know what I mean? Tell me if you know what I mean. You can feel what you're feeling as opposed to just being immersed in it and living it. And then you realize that if I can feel this, if I can experience this, then there's another type of experience that I can have, right? And so night before last night, I wake up from about, I drop asleep like 10 o'clock, I wake up from about 2 o'clock, and I just did it, I walk up and down and I bawl. Like me I write in my journal, and I just a bawl, and me a bawl, and me a bawl, and me a bawl, and me I say, what is this pan me Papa Jesus? And it's like me feel one whole heap of pain just start pass through me. Me I say, in the name of, look, this is not how I plan to start the year, y'all. Like, why am I in this much pain? Right? Me in a one bag of pain. And it's because at that time I was feeling how I had felt for the last 10 years. And I'm like, my God, I have been inside of a state of desperation. I've been inside of a state of suffering. I've been inside of a state of just not doing well. And I didn't even know. If you find yourself right now in this period, a bawl it out, because it is purging that you're doing. It's stuff that needs to come out. You need to let it out. You need to release it, because a lot of us, we have been like this with our emotions. We've been like this with our pains. We have been trying to keep it all inside because we don't want people to know. We don't want people to see. We don't want to come across as though we are weak and all of those types of things. Understand, a part of the revolution that is happening right now in our world, because we are in a revolutionary phase, is a revolution of vulnerability. And the people who are willing to be vulnerable and to become more deliberately themselves, they are the vanguard. They are in the lead of this revolution, right? Because a lot of us have been poisoned for years by the things that we refuse to let out, and our refusal to let them out has more to do with our social conditioning than anything that is true to us. Right? We refuse to admit that we are deeply sad. We refuse to admit that we do not feel comfortable in the spaces we have been inhabiting. We refuse to admit that things that we say to us hurt us and they're harmful to us and we wish that they would stop. We refuse to admit that the spaces that we're going into do not feel welcoming to us. We refuse to admit that we would like far more time alone to ourselves. We refuse to admit that the life that we're living is nowhere near bold enough to actually encompass all of us. We refuse to admit that the people that we love have hurt us, and we're sitting with that and we're living with that. We refuse to admit that we are disappointed in aspects of ourselves. We refuse to admit that even though we're big and we owl, there are some aspects of us that still feel like children. We refuse to admit the true depth of the pain. We refuse to admit our full capacity and our greatness. We refuse. And you see the closing in the background, let me just own it up right now so nobody enough to point it out. Yes, those are all clean clothes stacked behind me. All right, thank you so much. Now we can move on as a family, right? We refuse to admit all of these things. And I think that one of the most amazing things that's happening right now is that we are admitting to these things. A lot of us are having difficult conversations with ourselves and with the people around us that we have never had before, to say, hey, me not like this. This not feel good. Right? A lot of us are at that point in our life for the first time we admit this not feel good. This don't feel good, and if it don't feel good, then I cannot continue to do it, which means that we are at a place in our lives where some of us can actually acknowledge that things don't feel good because we are connected with our feelings, right? And so for any of you out there right now, we find say you're just fine say you feel terrible and you can't understand why you feel terrible. You just feel terrible and you can't understand why. You're not just feeling terrible out of the blue. You have felt terrible for some time. You have just now given yourself permission to fully connect with yourself. And so now you finally know how you feel and what it feels like to be you. And if you know how you feel and what it feels like to be you, then you can give yourself a different set of experiences to give yourself a different type of feeling. You're in the process of waking up, and waking up is painful, 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 right? Because there's a reason so many of us soul sleep. Many of us, our souls go to sleep because there are things outside that we don't want to deal with. And when it is that your soul begins to awaken, those things are still waiting there, and you will have to deal with that. Exactly. Cry till your tears feel like freedom. Just bawl as freely and liberally as you want. Right? For most of today, I've been walking around here on the verge of tears, half bawling and all of them things there. Sometimes I cannot even understand why it is. But me know say things when need to come out. Listen. A lot of us need to go in now and do a lot of soothing work with ourselves, right? Because a lot of us have abandoned aspects of ourselves. We have been dishonoring ourselves. We have been betraying ourselves for years. For years, we have been doing this. We have gotten into the habit of betraying ourselves. And it's in small things. Oh yeah, it's fine. That's one of the biggest daily betrayals that we do of ourselves. Oh yeah, it's fine. It's the most consistent, right? Oh yeah, man, I'm fine. And you go along with something and you say you're fine, and you go along with something and you're not fine. It's okay for you to say I'm not fine, right? None of us want to be that prickly person, right? None of us want to be that prickly person. None of us want to be that difficult person, because we ourselves have so maligned the people around us who have set clear boundaries for themselves, right? And let's be honest about that. A lot of us, the people around us who have said, my friend said I'm scared for come out. No, I'm glad you come out. I'm glad you come out of the live today, right? We have so judged people who set clear boundaries for themselves, and we have come up with this idea that them difficult and them going like them hype and them going like them better than people and them feel like them more than people, and them just make things so complicated that when we come to the place and we realize that we need to set those boundaries for ourselves, we are apprehensive because we know what it is that people will say about us. But regardless of what you have said about people in the past, and regardless of what it is that you have done in the past to people, if you have to become that person, you have to become that person, because it is the next evolutionary step, and you cannot keep on holding yourself back out of shame for what you did. So if it is that you are in a position and you feel you need to go apologize to the person and say, Jano, you know somebody judge you, but no, I understand, then go to the person and tell them. If it is that you have to go and inhabit it and let people say whatever they're going to say about you, let them say it about you, because guess what? Sometimes them saying what they have to say about you is the karma that you need to face for the judgment that you heaped on them, and it's just a part of it, right? You cannot live your life trying to avoid the karma that you have created for yourself. So if you was a real crutches to somebody, and now you have to become the exact person that you was a crutches to, understand that people are going to laugh at you, and it's okay. It's a part of the process. Feeling your feelings is how you pay off your karma, and this is how you settle your karmic debt. So go ahead and feel it, right? I was a matey, right? I hurt many people by being a matey. And now the person that I was with cheated on me, right? Wickedly, within a very short period of time, after a very long time of trying to figure out if we should be together. Cheated on me with the exact person that they told me I shouldn't worry about. So literally my life is that meme. Like the person that they told me I should not worry about, they cheated on me with them and just hopped into whatever with them immediately after. And this is the second time that person has done that to me, right? I had to go and feel all of the feelings that I had caused other women to feel when I was the woman on the side. And that's just that. Like, that's that on that. Like, that's on period. Understand? So you're going to have to go and do it. Just go and feel your feelings, right? So go and figure out what it is that you need to be and what is authentic to you. This year, one of the things that I'm challenging myself to do is to be more deliberately myself, which means I have to individuate, because a lot of us have not individuated. We have not. What you know about the world is largely what people tell you about the world, what your family has told you about the world, what your closest friends have told you about the world. Even the way that you process your emotions has been shaped by how people around you process their emotions. So you have family members who tend to have short fuses. Okay, that's how you understand that people treat other people. So now you have a short fuse. You have family members who are long suffering. Okay, then now you're going to give and give and give and have no boundaries because you understand that people are supposed to be long suffering. Or you will develop your personality as kind of like a counteraction to the things that they did because you don't want to become them. Have you sat down and actually thought about how you are? What is the way of responding and showing up in the world that feels authentic and fulfilling for you, and that makes you feel happy, and that makes you feel like this is the life that you want, right? And understand that this may not look anything like the people around you, and that's why you've avoided it for so long. But for better or for worse, this is your one and only life, and it is your life, and you have to go and do what you want to do with it. You have to individuate. You have to stop living your parents' lives. You have to stop living your grandparents' lives. And a lot of us come out of a situation where you have parents and grandparents who have sacrificed a lot for you. And so you feel that it is your duty to live the life that they could never have lived, right? And I understand that. And when you start doing ancestor work, you will recognize that as you come into a closer relationship with your ancestors, then there might be certain things that you are called upon to do to kind of complete certain journeys for them and help them close out certain cycles and all of those types of things, right? But you have a responsibility to live the life that is your life. You cannot keep on living your life to do the things that your parents didn't do because they didn't have the opportunities. You have to do what it is that you want to do with your opportunities, because it is absolutely a waste of time for your family to stress and struggle to put you in a place where you can have opportunities, and the only thing that you will do with those opportunities is to squander them by not actually fulfilling your goal in this life. You cannot spend your life trying to fulfill your parents' goals, right? And parents have to learn that they can be proud of their children for the things that they do with their lives, but that pride shouldn't be contingent on the child doing what the parent wants them to do with their life. And this is a very difficult thing. It is very hurtful to think about. It will feel like abandonment when you walk away from your parents' expectations of you, but inevitably you have to do it. It is hard. It is hard, but you have to do it. You have to individuate. A lot of things that you think you know about life, a lot of things that you think are true are actually just things that have been told to you, and you haven't actually gone out to see if there's anything else out there. When people come to you with another way of being or another way of thinking or another way of living, it might be very easy for you to just disapprove of it or dismiss it, especially because a lot of times when we are indoctrinated into certain ways of thinking, we are also indoctrinated into devaluing anything that doesn't match up with that. And so automatically anybody who is different, you feel like as though they're coming against you, because a lot of times that's the type of programming that you receive from your family, right? Who are you? What do you like? What do you like that you have not experienced before? What do you like that you've actually been taught to dislike? What makes you happy that you have been told is somehow subpar or less than or undeserving? What makes you happy that you have been told is taboo? What makes you happy that you have been told nobody should enjoy or nobody could ever enjoy or people like us don't enjoy, right? So many of us don't do this and don't do that because we're black or because we're Jamaican, and black people and Jamaican people not supposed to like that. Caribbean people not supposed to like that. And inevitably, when you go back and you check out the limits, it's people just like us who invented that thing that we're now turning our backs on because other people colonized it. What do you like to do? You better damn well feel good in your life because it's your one life. Like last night, I fell asleep at like 9. I fell asleep at 9, right? And I was okay with the idea that I would sleep all the way through the new year, because you know what? That is what my body needed to be doing. I needed rest. I am not trying to push my body into doing things that are non-essential to my survival because of some social construct that says that's what I should be doing, right? I woke up back at 11 something. I did decide, say, me like, see, friend, I tell them exactly what I talk about. I woke up back at 11 something. I say me I chuck off in the shower and then me I chuck off back in the bed. But I stayed up a little bit longer, and then I remember that one of the things that I have to call my best friend, right? So that is it. Like, I am not committed to doing any, and when I said it, okay, no, that's a generalization, right? Because I am committed to doing things that people think I should be doing. Let's not lie to ourselves, right? It's very easy to come on the live and say, I'm not committed to doing things that people think I should be doing, but that's a goddamn lie. All of us are committed to doing things that people think we should be doing. A lot of us are going to work even though we don't enjoy working because people think we should be working, and so does JPS because they keep sending us the bills, right? But I am relinquishing some of my commitment to doing things that people think I should be doing simply because people think I should be doing them, right? Because, like, one of the things about the change of the decade is that it really allows you to do a deeper and more thorough check-in with yourself. And when I look at the last 10 years of my life, and I said to myself, girl, you got to live some life before you grow old. Like, you have to live some life before you grow. Because at this point, I'm 37. And the next time a decade changes, I will be like 47, 48. It's time for me to start doing some things that I want to do with my life. Right? I have to start doing things that I want to do with my life, because quite literally I'm already running out of time. And that's not me being fatalistic. That's me being, like, realistic, that the fact of the matter is we're not immortal here. Like, all of us are going to die eventually. And I think if more of us were clear about the fact that we're going to die eventually, then we would probably start to get a little bit more, deliberate about how we spend our time. Right? Yeah, all of us take the time that we take to wake up, and with the amount of social conditioning that's around us, it is extremely, extremely hard. Right? I will do my best to save the life, yes. Right? It is extremely, extremely hard for us to wake up because there's so many things that are meant to keep us asleep. Right? And then aside from that, aside from just the level of social conditioning, there's the amount of distraction that we have. Right? Most of us are lulled into a false sense of safety by the number of people and things around us telling us that the foolishness that we believe is right, and the amount of things around us that's just taking our attention from actually paying attention to ourselves, like taking our attention away from ourselves, right? And that's one of the reasons that we don't individuate. And it's one of the reasons that we don't elevate. It's one of the reasons that we don't wake up. It's one of the reasons that we don't bond down after the thing that we were supposed to bond down. Because if we actually paid attention to the world as it is, we would have done start light some fire already, right? But because there's so many other things that we have to do, and because this whole matter of survival, of keeping body and soul together, we need to eat, we don't bond down to something then because we have to get up by the next morning because, well, food, water, all them type of something there, right? But let this be the year that you become more deliberately yourself. Let this be the year that you ask yourself, who am I and what it is that I want, and that you don't shy away from any of the answers. Right? Me tell a girl that says she have an Aries aspect, you know. You say as if I reach she now, but tell her that she have an Aries aspect. Don't shy away from any of the answers. I am always burning Babylon. I tend to burn the Babylon in the classroom. But I feel like this year is the year that I should probably find something actually revolutionary and be a part of it. So I'm looking for it. I'm open to it because there are many things in this system that need to come all the way down. Right? Be deliberate in asking yourself, who am I? And don't shy away from any of the answers. And be led by your own desires. I remember one time one of my friends said something to me and it was so disconcerting. She said, you deserve what you desire. And I was like, okay. And she's like, you deserve what you desire. And the thing was so mind-boggling for me because it's like I had never stopped to think, the fact that you desire something, you deserve it. Now, immediately I was like, but suppose what I desire is people, man, I don't deserve that, right? But then I had to get out of that framing, and it's like, the majority of things that you desire are not things where you will have to cross somebody else to get it. It's not things where you will have to hurt somebody else to get it. So that's a very limited way of thinking about yourself. And that's a very limited way of framing your life, right? We're actually kind of taught to fear exactly. We're taught that to think individually is selfish. Thinking and caring for self is necessary. Exactly, right? You deserve what you desire. A lot of times we are afraid of getting what we desire because we feel like it's going to make us spoiled. We feel as though it's going to make us entitled. We feel as though we're selfish to want anything in the first place, especially if it's not something that we can share or want to share with the community. You know, but you deserve what you desire. Like, what could be so wrong with you that you don't deserve to get the things that you want to get in life? You understand what I'm saying? Like, and I want us to start to think about this. You deserve what you desire. And a lot of times, if you actually just sat with yourself and sat with yourself and sat with yourself and ask yourself, what is it that I desire? The things that you desire come from such a very pure place, right? It comes from such a very pure place. And yes, sometimes we desire things that are complicated, and one of the things that we have to get over is that this idea that life will never be messy. Life is going to be messy. Life is going to be messy. Yes, ask the questions. Life is going to be messy because we are here existing at intersecting crossroads. I am here for one workshop. You are here for another workshop. Another somebody is here for another workshop. And those workshops will require us to collide into one another, lick down one another, and all of them type. Yes, I am recording this. Sometimes when I try to post it, Instagram pop my foot, but I'm gonna try to end this like before the 15 seconds is left, because then it's more likely that I will, right? A lot of us are afraid of things getting messy. Life is going to get messy. There's no clean way for you to get through this life. You're gonna buck your toe, you're gonna drop. When you drop, you're gonna lick up in a smaddy. Right? It's going to happen. You are going to walk through this life possibly with grudges. And yes, you might walk through life with grudges, and that's okay. That's okay. I do have a YouTube channel. It's Country from Long Time. I just stopped posting over there because my internet does not sustain me posting something of 7 to 12 minutes thing. I'm probably going to try to post this on YouTube after, but my internet really baffles me all the time. All right? Yeah. It's going to get messy, and there's no like sanitized, cleaned up, perfect life that any of us is going to have. It's not, right? It's just not going to happen. And I think a lot of us, there are big decisions that we know we need to make, but we not make them because we have to go make a little mess in making that decision. I feel some more we need for just get comfortable with the mess. I have a term when I use, me say it's necessary. It is messy, but it is necessary. We have to go get started with the necessary things this year. Yes, some of the decisions that you take, people might hold a grudge against you because of it. People might be disappointed in you because of it. People might feel say you get rich and switch because of it. People might think that you have morphed into a bitch because of it. People might think that you are now one of those people that you used to judge because of it. And regardless of what those people think, regardless of what even you think, because you will probably be in there judging yourself, if it is necessary, then you have to make that mess. Right? I have this app called CoStar, and it sends, a message. Send me this message based on like where the stars were when I was born and all of those types of things. And yesterday it was like, it's okay. It's like it's okay to break things apart without knowing how you put them back together. Right? Because a lot of us are like that. Hey Orville, a lot of us are like that. We don't mash up any things, including some patty shop when you mash down from time. No words thrown at KFC. We don't mash up things because we cannot figure out how to put them together or what comes next. Sometimes you just need to mash up the thing. The putting it back together is not on you. That's not your job. You are the wrecking ball. Somebody else is the glue. And this includes things that happen in your own life. Sometimes there is something in your life that is not working, and the only thing you can fathom is how to mash it up. You cannot figure out how to fix it. You cannot figure out how to smooth the edges that come after the whole thing is fractured. That is fine. That is not your job. Mash it up is your job. That is what you are put here to do. Do your job. You they are pre other people's job and say you can't do yours. Do your job. Right? Become more deliberate about being yourself. Honor yourself at all points in time, and honor all parts of yourself, including the part of yourself that doesn't want to people, including the part of yourself. Some of us have a part of ourselves that, honestly, cannot be satisfied just dating one person. That part cannot be satisfied. But we keep pushing ourselves into these long-term monogamous relationships, and then we cheat on people. Stop doing it. If what you need is multiple partners, then be honest with yourself and be honest with each and every person that comes into contact with you that, look here, I cannot settle down with one somebody. I want to be with multiple people. If you're going to be with me, understand that. And then hold yourself accountable and have some integrity in the way that you are dealing with those multiple people, because you don't get to be a junker to multiple people just because you cannot figure out how to consistently be a good junker to just one. You understand what I'm saying? There are things that some of us need that we'll never understand. Some of us need a level of solitude that is unfamiliar to everybody around us, because we are surrounded by extroverts, or we are surrounded by people who like to be social and we're not social. Be honest with them about that and go and take the time that you need for yourself. Some of us are in a job, a vocation. Some of us are in a degree program. All of these types of things that don't make any sense for us, and we cannot see our way forward in it, and we are failing out of the program because it does not link to any wider plan for ourselves. But every day we are sinking money into this thing because we have started it already, and we know that there is no further that it can take us. Sometimes you start walking down a road and you are really far down that road when you realize that this road don't make no backside sense for you, and if you're staying on this road 1 minute more, you're going to lose your mind. You have to left the road, come off of the road, right? If you need to go and read some of the little pataki them from the Orisha thing, remember say several times them did make creation, because them did make creation wrong and did have to start it all over again. Because them never include the little sweetness and the niceness from Oshun in there, and so everything down here did freak up. And so then they have to come and start again. You understand what I say? So, do ask yourself, who am I? What it is that I want? And start walking in the direction of your damn self. Individuate. This is the year you have to individuate. This is the year that you have to start to get to know the world on your terms. You have to start understand reality. What this means is you probably have to go do some things where you never do before. You have some party where you never used to go because you don't feel like your style that go there. Use the type of somebody you only go to the $17,000 party, them go to the street dance them, because maybe there is something over there that you is going to like, right? Use the type of somebody who say you cannot bother with the root state of them because them don't make no sense. Go down there and make sure bother speak over you, do whatever you have to do. You're the type of somebody who only usually go to the root state and you go to one of the little fancy uptown one and with the people them knows turn up, go up there, go and find out something them that you like, right? You have been living for years as a carnivore. Try to be a little vegan for your time. You've been living as a vegan and the chicken attempt, you're going to buy the chicken. Do something what you need to do with your life. Do not be so committed to holding on to any version of yourself that you forget that you are a work in progress. Give yourself the time to change. Give yourself the space to change. You don't have to be the same person every year, you know. We are overcommitted to this idea of consistency and stability and this unchanging self, and in a way that we have started to stifle ourselves. If it doesn't work for you, change it. You can be a different version of yourself every year of your life until you die. And if you get to 70 odd years and you make this decision at 40, then it means that you get 30 odd years of a completely fresh, new and different experience. Why are we so obsessed with sameness? You don't need to be the same every year of your life. And people around you will start to tell you that you're looking inconsistent, and people around you will start to tell you that you're looking unstable, and people around you will all of those types of things. Honor your word. Honor the commitments that you made to people, because understand that we are interdependent beings and people are depending on you for things. But recognize that inside of that interdependence, you must eke out a space that is for yourself, and you have to honor yourself. Stop betraying yourself. You are allowed to change. If who you are being right now doesn't work for you, then pack up the whole thing and move on. Because guess what? You have the lessons, right? You have the lessons that were there. So take those with you. All right, Mr. Moonshine, I say now, hypothetically, if I never had intentions to hurt somebody but them end up hurt through my actions, am I responsible for their hurt karmically? You know, I'm not actually sure with that one. I'm not sure if karma has to do with intentions or if karma has to do with impact. That's actually one I'd have to read up on some more. And if there's anybody here who thinks about it or knows about it, then they can let me know. I wonder about that myself. And then sometimes I push myself more kind of deeper, and I wonder, is it that I have to have ill intentions towards a person, or is it if there's a situation where I knew that there was a potential for something to happen and I didn't stop, because I knew that potential was there. Because sometimes I don't go in deliberately to hurt a person, but I'm smart enough to know that if I do this, one of the potential outcomes will be that somebody might get hurt, and then I don't stop, you know? But that's something, if somebody here in here can speak to that, that's one of them that I should read up on a little bit more about how much intentionality plays into how karma comes out. Because I mean, I have conversations with people about that, not on a karmic level, but just on a how do we respond to people when we've hurt them level. Because I know that there's a way that I can become very, oh, but I didn't mean to hurt you. But at the end of the day, hurt is hurt, you know? Hurt is hurt. And if it is that somebody run me down and stab me with a knife, or somebody I walk fast with the knife and fail to put it in the right place and it stab me, the chop that is in my foot is still the chop that is in my foot, and I'm going to have to deal with that, right? So I don't know. And like, I can admit that I don't know about that one, and I'd have to do some more about it. But on the level of like the human level, like outside of the karmic level, like on the human level, one of the things that I'm trying to make myself do is to take responsibility for how I made a person feel, regardless of my intentions. Because sometimes when I look at it, I can realize that I may have had good intentions, but there was also some reasoning through that I didn't do inside of those good intentions. And if I had reasoned it through a little bit more, then I may have thought differently. The other thing that I'm giving myself permission to do, or not giving, actually, another thing that I have to come to terms with is that there will absolutely be times when the thing that I need to do for myself may not benefit somebody else, right? The thing that I need to do for myself in this moment may not benefit somebody else. And it sounds selfish and it sounds awful. And it's something that I deeply struggle with. But at the end of the day, even though most of us cannot articulate that to ourselves, our actions in the way that we live show us that we know that sometimes you have to do something for yourself, for your... Carla loves you too. I do. Right? There are things that I will have to do that for my own benefit, and there are things that people have to do for their own benefit that they won't benefit me, right? And ultimately, they will have to do it. They will have to do it. It's going to hurt me, and they will have to do it. It's going to hurt them, and I will have to do it. And I can't live my life never, ever, ever wanting to cause anybody any discomfort or pain, because that's impossible. We are going to cause people discomfort and pain. I mean, at the most basic level, all of us came here through discomfort and pain. Somebody either had to push us out of their nanny, or they had to put a knife into somebody's stomach for us to come here, right? So, I mean, the idea that we will have a life where we will never cause other people discomfort is absolutely impossible, because the birth process is quite uncomfortable, and that is the only way that any of us got here, right? Also, the process of early childhood, raising children in early childhood is also very uncomfortable, and it's also necessary, right? So we are going to hurt each other in this process here. It doesn't mean that we should be careless. I think we should be mindful, and in as much as we can, to be compassionate to other people, but we should also do our best to be compassionate to ourselves, because sometimes we can be so busy being compassionate to other people that we overlook the fact that we are also people and in need of compassion, right? Miss Wapi Wrangling say, if your intentions are good, all you can do is apologize if they're hurt feelings. We're only human. Exactly. And I think it's when we, hey Rochelle, when we come from this perspective or this idea that we will never hurt people, when we do hurt people, it can send us into a tailspin, right? And sometimes in that tailspin, we become so consumed with how we feel about the fact that we hurt the person that we can't actually show up to the fact that we hurt somebody, right? And in that way, we can become very self-centered. And that's why I think it might be more useful. And I'm saying this to you, and it's one of the things that I struggle with the most. I have hurt multiple people in my life, and I have in hurting them, I have kind of zeroed back in on my feelings about hurting them and actually left them alone to deal with that pain in some ways, in a way that was actually, pretty damaging and not how I wanted to be living. Um, but you're gonna hurt people and you're gonna get hurt because our paths are crossing. And sometimes those paths are like swords and it's gonna hurt. Somebody's gonna get hurt, right? How do you find the balance between what's necessary for you and what's gonna hurt the person? If it's necessary for you, it's necessary. And that's the cold hard facts of it. If something is absolutely necessary for you, then you will have to do it in the same way that other people will do what is absolutely necessary for them. You know, the thing that I always say to people is try to act with integrity. A lot of times it's not what we do, it's the way that we do it. You know, it's how do I have a conversation with somebody that says this relationship is not working for me, and allow them to leave that relationship with their dignity versus cheating on them, and then them having to live through that with people outside knowing that this happened in their relationship, and all of the messed up ways that we interpret infidelity as somehow a failure of the partner them couldn't hold you. you know it's sitting down with your family members to let them know that, at least attempting to let them know, listen, I am not going to be accepting of this behavior anymore, or I will no longer be engaging with that family member because they are toxic, and I'm letting you all know from now that this is my way forward, as opposed to holding on to that until it becomes a big embarrassing blow up, and then you start venting out things that you didn't mean to talk about in the first place, and now everything is super awkward and you don't want to go back to the house anymore. And we won't always be able to do it, but in as much as possible, I think one of the ways that I want to go forward is how can I leave people with their dignity inside of doing what is necessary for myself. And a lot of that comes down to a very, very, very high level of honesty, especially when things get hard. And it's one of the things that a lot of us struggle with, but it's actually the thing that could be a turning point for how our relationships go. Is I will be honest with you, especially when things get hard. There's a tendency, and it's very human, that the harder things get, the less honest we become, because the conversations get frightening and they become the type of make or break conversations, and we feel like we're going to lose something. You can't hold on to everything. And one of the ways that we hurt people is that we try to hold on to everything. We want to get a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Sometimes you're going to have to let go of some things in order to have some other things. And if we became more comfortable with that, if we didn't grasp as much, sometimes it's in the grasping that we hurt people, right? Because you're holding somebody in your hand and you want to bring in another thing, and that thing that you're bringing is going to hold the person. It hurt them. It wouldn't hurt them if you let go of them first, but we want all, and then sometimes we lose all. That's quite true. We want all and we lose all. And sometimes we really have to learn that I can't have this and that at the same time in the way that I want it. I might be able to have something that's close, but I can't have it in this exact way. And so it's about me being honest with other people. But if something is necessary for you, it's necessary for you, and the necessity of it doesn't change because of the level of complication involved in you getting it. And that's hard. It's hard to be the person that has to make that decision. It's hard to be the person that has to live with that decision, right? And how the level of integrity and honesty that we can share with each other changes a lot. As I know that I've had to go through difficult situations with people, and at the end of it, because of how they handled it, what I look back and I say is at least they were honest with me every step of the way. They tried to be a good human in the way that they were handling it, and that means a lot. It's so confirming to hear the theme of this convo, because this year is one where it's going to be very individualistic for me, not in a selfish and inappropriate way, but for my own evolution. And I mean, it's really just about where we're focusing energy, right? Sometimes we can't focus energy on every single thing around us and have the requisite amount of energy that we need to be focusing on ourselves, and that's the truth. And so then we will have to prioritize how we're spending our time and our energy. And sometimes it's a time when you have to spend that time and energy on yourself. It don't mean that you cut off everything else, but it does mean that you're changing how you focus. And this is no different than when you're in school and you have an exam coming up and you know, say, well, the amount of TV where you're watching, the amount of party where you're going, whatever, I got cut off because you have an end goal that you're trying to achieve. If it is that you have made up your mind that this is the year that you want to individuate, and this is the year that you want a deeper connection with yourself, and this is the year where you really want to get to understand yourself, then you're going to have to put your energy on focusing on yourself. And it means that some of the people around you won't be able to focus on them at the same level. The beautiful thing is that when we as individuals have our own lives and our own things that we are attending to, we take it less personally when people do the things that they have to do for ourselves, right? For themselves. And one of the things when we are very enmeshed with other people and we don't recognize the boundaries between us and them, we take their life decisions personally. Oh, you're abandoning me, and oh, you're not paying me any mind, and oh, da, 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 da. And a lot of times the only thing we can see is how we feel about it. We can't see what it is that's causing them to act in that way, right? Hey, King Yan say, is it fair to hold that honest conversation and express your feelings to gain that balance, especially if you feel that the person may not be able to understand your footing? So here's the thing. I'll put it to you this way. If you attempt to hold an honest conversation, they may or may not understand you. But if you do whatever it is that you need to do without the honest conversation, then you made absolutely no attempt to make it easier for them. Right? Sometimes we don't have conversations with people because we assume that they won't understand. And the fact of the matter is that maybe they will not understand. But I think it is valiant to at least try and pay the person the respect of trying to get them to understand versus not making that attempt and doing what you're going to do anyway. Because when you don't make an attempt and you do whatever you have to do anyway, you don't give the person a choice about accompanying you through that, right? And I think especially when it comes on to like having to leave situations or especially when it comes on to infidelity, one of the things that hurts the person most is that you didn't give me a choice. You didn't give me a choice. You didn't tell me this is where you were so I could decide where I am. It's like you hauled me into something with you. You didn't give me the opportunity to choose. And so I think that's why sometimes having a conversation is very important, because then it gives the person the choice. If you say to them, this is where I am, and they say, okay, well, me and you are else, then you say, okay, well, I can't manage me and you alone anymore, and then they can go. But if it is that you just kind of go pop out with somebody else, then you didn't really give them a choice. And that is, I think, it's the thing that makes people feel disempowered, right? Because I mean, some of the ways that we feel after, for example, infidelity are very similar to the ways that we feel after like being robbed. All of your power has been taken from you. Something has happened to you and you had absolutely no say in it. You were going about your business inside of an environment that you thought was familiar to you and that you thought was safe for you, and then all of a sudden something popped out and now you don't know how to function anymore, you don't know how to go forward, and it doesn't make any sense, right? So yeah, 2020, I think it can be a year of abundance. It can be a year of liberation. It doesn't mean that it's going to be a easy year, because a lot of those things will require hard conversations with others and with ourselves. But a lot of times we are blocking our own abundance because of the things that we refuse to just accept or to deal with. A lot of us have a purpose. A lot of us have a gift. And we cannot walk into that gift because we are so concerned with what other people have told us our lives are supposed to look like, or what other people have told us a worthwhile career look like, or what other people have told us a livable and acceptable life looks like. And we're so busy living into that we're not paying attention to the special blessing thing that's here for us. And if it is that we want to have that type of abundance, then it means that we have to come into a place where we are in connection with our authentic selves. And that means that we will actually have to start to focus on ourselves, right? So let's try that for this year. Happy New Year, Tashan. Let's try that for this year. When you encounter something this year, ask yourself, Happy New Year, Pataki. When you encounter something this year, ask yourself, what do I feel about this? What do I feel? And if you can't get to what you're feeling, understand that you can get to that and give yourself a little time. Because sometimes your feelings are clouded by so many years of conditioning and so many stories about other people's lives that you can't actually get to it. and move a little slower. You don't have to give a response right now. You're not have to, oh, Happy New Year's. Oh, sorry, it's for the newcomers, not for me. You don't have to trace out the people them right now. You don't have to bawl and tell them sorry right now. Because if you don't feel that, then that's not genuine. This year, move a little slower. Give yourself the permission to take some time to sit with yourself and figure out what you feel about something, so that you can know that you are responding as yourself. Right? And trust yourself. All of this becomes much easier when you're working from a place of self-trust. A lot of us have been removed from our intuition. BIL. Oh, trace is a cuss out. When we trace, we cuss out somebody. Bill as in, oh, bill as in bill. Or when we say your bill, so if I'm saying, like, if you send me and somebody a bill, it means that me and them are hanging out and we're talking and we're sharing information. But when you say bill, it's kind of like just calm yourself, just settle yourself, just, be there. Right? Yeah, relax. How do we ignore the yearning for someone or something that might be toxic? You know you're hurting, but the heart wants what it wants. Baby love. O'Brien. Remember, oh, you weren't here when I said it. So I just saw something that I posted on January 1, 2014. And it's because it's me talking about, being open to what the universe has for you. And if something leaves you, let it leave you. Because in January 1, 2014, I was processing through a breakup from the same human being that I am at the end part of processing through a breakup with now. Right? Why Karina come like this? Right? The heart is going to want what it wants. I still love my ex. Right? And I don't feel any way saying that there's a way that we're supposed to act like we don't love people because they're bad for us. No, I still love my ex. I love my ex with all of my heart. Right? Despite many years of fuckery and despite deep traumatic pain. And I'm not talking about hurt. Like, my ex harmed me. Right? Harmed me. Like, there are things that I think twice about doing now because of what I've been through with my ex, and I went through it twice. We had like a 12-year stretch of this and 2 attempts at a relationship, one which lasted 3 weeks. Right? I still love my ex, because that's an emotion that's beyond my control. I feel like we have like a spiritual connection, or even really separate from a spiritual connection. Like, I love my ex. That doesn't mean that it's right for me to be with my ex, because at the end of the day, I have to think about my mental health. Minute Island Breeze, I'm not sure what you're referring to, right? At the end of the day, I have to think about my mental health. I can't knowingly curate space for toxicity in my life because I know what it costs me, right? And not this ex, but another one. When I made the decision that we had to separate, is when I realized that I was starting like my second or third semester of teaching at UWI, and I was fighting on the phone on the way to start teaching. And I said to myself, but this is crazy, because I'm entering like my second year with you in the same energy, and now I have to rally and pull myself together to go and try and teach these students, and this relationship with you is not supporting me having good days. And I had to recognize that, listen, if it is that I want any of these people, hey, full stop boss, if the something I said 1 minute and 40 seconds, right? And say if I don't stop it in a certain time, then the something is just going to farm full. So on a talk now, if you know what we do our next live, or we must just done talk now. We have 1 minute and 28 seconds for decide. You don't want we to stop now, or you don't want we to do another live. I'm willing to do another one if you don't want it, but if you don't want it, then I'm also willing to go and eat cake and drink cereal. On a talk now. On a talk now. Okay, should be all right then. So I'm ending this and I'm gonna do another live. So everybody just go meet me over the other one. Just meet me over the other one. Okay, all right, bye.